Okay, right. Hello. 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 Hello, my name is Matilda and the film you're about to watch is about adults' unanswered questions. Through this film, I wanted to reawaken adults' curiosity and make you realise that you're not inferior for lack of knowledge. I went out onto the streets with my friend Jemima and we collected about 40 questions, I think about 8 of which I've managed to be able to answer within the time frame, so feel free to take any of the questions at the end of the video and take them into your own life and try and answer them. But most importantly, never stop asking,
why? 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 Why?
Why do I have spots?
Spots are generally the result of sebaceous glands in your skin producing oil every day to keep skin healthy. During puberty, around the time of your period, or when you're feeling particularly stressed out, hormonal changes in your body can lead to overproduction of oil on your face, particularly your T-zone, which includes your forehead, nose and chin, as these are the areas of your body that have the highest concentration of sebaceous glands, which produce the oil.
Why do I always leave things to the deadline?
The reason as to why we avoid things really varies. It could be a failure of executive function, emotional regulation, or just genetics. But there are said to be 3 different types of procrastinators. The thrill seekers who knowingly wait to the last minute for the rush and pressure of a deadline, because quite frankly some people just work best under pressure. Then there's the avoiders who may be avoiding fear of failure or even fear of success. And finally the decisional procrastinators who just can't make that decision. Hopefully that will explain a bit about yourself and why you do what you do, or more appropriately why you do what you know you should do but just don't do. Why when we breathe out is it warm, but blow out and it's cold? Step 1. Raise your hand. Step 2. With pursed lips, blow quickly on your hand. Feels cold, right? Step 3. With a wider mouth and calmer approach, breathe onto it. It should be warm. The reason for this has to do with what's happening in the air. Quick air means it mixes in more with the outside air, whereas if you breathe slowly, it's a much smoother and wider jet of air, so it doesn't mix nearly as quickly.
Why does it hurt when I pee?
Alrighty then, why does it hurt when I pee? Swallow, cough, poop, nope. Yeah, pee. Gotta get that correct punctuation in there. Right, painful urination, oh dear. 33 possible conditions. Obstructed uropathy, that's how you pronounce it. Let's read some more. Painful urination is a common sign of a urinary tract infection. No, thank you. What is a UTI? Tract infection is an infection from microbes. Most UTIs are caused by bacteria, fungi, and in rare cases, viruses. Right, anyway, I'm bored of this now. Let's go to images. See if that might enlighten. Oh, gosh. Urinary bladder and urethra. Male. All those complicated words, no. Frank Zappa, maybe that's why. That's why it hurts when you pee. He might be the reason. Or this guy. That would definitely hurt. Yep. That'd be painful.
Why is music so important to us?
Music is quite a kind of group activity. So as much as like playing a sport or whatever, it brings people together, and that would have been one of the, if we're talking about ancient time, that would have been one of the main areas where music would have been helpful for society. The earliest instruments that I know of, about 130,000 years ago, and even those were just very, very basic kind of flute-type instruments. I've done some cool experiments with singing. I do a lot of singing. It's been shown that when people sing together, their heartbeats actually synchronise. The origin of music would have been through some sort of singing or chanting, and that would have brought people together in a community.
Exploring the Musical Mind by John Sloboda. An extract from this book by Diana Ruffman states, If all meanings could be adequately expressed by words, the arts of painting and music would not exist. There are values and meanings that can be expressed only by immediately visible and audible qualities, and to ask what they mean in the sense of something that can be put into words is to deny their distinctive existence. Music as Social Text by John Shepherd. A diplomat participates in foreign negotiations. Historians describe a battle. An Australian savage dances the history of his tribe. The Indian paints his myths of tribal origin in sand. Witnesses verify what really happened through creating expressive forms in which they depict the event.
Can I have your number?
A guy sexually assaulted me last year. Did he know he'd done it? Sexual assault is a serious and ever more prevalent issue within our society. A clear and objective conclusion couldn't be made with this question, so I decided to explore the issue and hear from people of the same age as the participant about their thoughts on issues within sexual assault.
I think sexual assault happens when someone's touching you and when you haven't given the consent to them and is inappropriate.
Non-consensual, one-sided sexual initiation of any kind.
Well, I feel like sexual assault can be verbal and physical.
Saying inappropriate things that make a person feel uncomfortable when they haven't done anything to warrant or suggest that they would like you to do that.
It doesn't have to be the act of sex, it could be just doing something inappropriately that they don't want to happen.
I think you do realise when you're doing something, when you're in a club that someone's just touching your ass when you haven't even spoken to them, or you can just be talking and then moves maybe a bit quicker than you would have wanted.
You don't owe someone anything. If you're flirting with someone, it doesn't mean that you owe them something sexual. If they're nice to you, if they buy you a drink, you don't owe them anything. You're just doing your thing.
I feel like it's dependent on the relationship or the situation or kind of the dynamic of whatever's happening at the time, but I feel like your judgment can be blurred by with alcohol or drugs or something like that.
But I also think it's that ego boost, trying to sort of make yourself feel bigger by making someone else feel smaller, and I think that is a conscious thing.
It's more the situation, and it you can judge it on that rather than just as a whole it being sexual assault.
What happens when we die?
As a believer of God, we have very strong belief regarding the life in the hereafter. So more specifically, the question you put today forward is that what happens when we die?
What happens when you die is that you die.
My belief is that we incarnate, and I believe in reincarnation, and we come to this earth plane because it's a school for us to learn, and that we just use our bodies. They're just like if you can imagine, just stepping into a shell, and then that's the bit that you use for this particular life path, for what your soul has to learn.
First of all, we understand that death is the certainty of this world, and no one till today has ever escaped from this death. As a Muslim, as a believer, and as a human, shall I be more general, no one has ever seen what is going to happen in the hereafter, and no one had ever seen yet till today except the messengers of God who were sent. Nobody else has witnessed personally, physically speaking, what happens after death. And as soon as a person dies, and what this means that as soon as the soul leaves the body, that is the time where the hereafter for that particular person begins. So the hereafter is a big concept, is a big world which includes the life in the grave, which includes the places called Sijjin and Alliyin, meaning all the good souls and all the people who have pleased God and fulfilled their purpose will be in Alliyin, and all the people who did not fulfill the purpose, who are, in other words, the bad souls, will be in a place called Sijjin.
As I say, that basically our soul, our spirit leaves the body when we die. Our loved ones come to collect us that are in spirit, and they basically have a party when we die. Whereas we obviously mourn, and it's the reverse is the other way as well. They're in mourning when people are born and reincarnated, and we celebrate a birth when they arrive on the earth plane. But we are all spiritual beings having a human experience.
I suppose it reminds me of recently I had a general anaesthetic, and 1 minute I was talking to the anaesthetist, and the next minute I was waking up, and I'd been out for, say, an hour, but I didn't know anything about that at all. It wasn't like going to sleep because there was no dreaming or anything. And that is the humanist view of what happens when you die. So after you've died, it's pretty similar to, well, it's the same as it was before you were born. So you just got this period of time when you're alive, which means you need to make the best use of it.